We are here. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Happy Thursday. This is going to be a good conversation. I see you guys are here early. Listen, tonight we are talking struggle love, but not in the way that you think we might be talking about struggle love. We are going to look at what really is struggle love and redefine it a little bit and maybe talk about a little bit about our own struggle love. Because I think we've all been in a little bit of a struggle love. But before we get into that, twins, how are you?
The struggle is real. Like it kind of flow well together, so I forgot to put that out there. I'm well. How are you doing?
I am pretty good. I am pretty good. It's been Thursday. It's been a week. The week is almost over.
Yes, Friday
I'm
tomorrow.
excited for that. The weather here has been, I was describing the weather as a Instagram baddie with a filter. And then when the filter comes off, you see that she is not bad at all. So we had these really, really nice days, and people are like, oh my God, it's so nice. And then now it's about to snow tomorrow. It was -7 today. People had their knees out. I was like, y'all are doing too much.
Oh well, here in
Mm-mm.
Atlanta, Georgia, or you should say
Hmm.
hot Atlanta, this
Hmm.
week was in the 70s, but yesterday was 80. I had on shorts yesterday. I went out for a nice little walk, and
I
now
love it.
today, now this morning,
Mm.
it rained this morning, so it was pouring out this morning, and by the end of the day or midday, hoodie, sweatpants, but it was probably like 69, 60 degrees somewhere around there.
And I love that for you. Listen, I'm always happy for other people. Now, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be in Tulum. And so I really shouldn't complain this much because there are people out there that are praying for my problems. As I always say, people, that's a saying I say. If you ever get down on yourself and go, woe is me, there is someone out there praying for your problems. And so I am going to be in Tulum in 2 weeks. So I'm trying not to complain, but damn, it's hard. Damn. It is hard. My God, how has your week been? Like, has it been really good? What's going on with the kids? Any games? What's up? What's up?
I mean, of course, we got soccer this weekend, so and we had on Tuesday. So, when you're soccer dads, that's part of the lifestyle. So that's going on. The weather's good. Just the same old, working hard. You know what I'm saying?
I
No
love that
complaints.
for you.
Living it,
I love
living.
that for
It's what they say: living the American dream.
you.
Whatever
I
that
just,
means.
I just as people in the comments have pointed out to me, I am not an FBA, which I found out means foundational Black American. So I just sometimes I just smile. I'm just here so I don't get fired.
I
Um,
before
yes,
FBA.
yes, I'm not an FBA. Like I do read the comments, people. Sometimes I don't comment back, but I read them because I appreciate that people are commenting. And someone reminded another person because of a clip that I was doing that I am not a foundational Black American. So apparently, the things that I say should be taken with a grain of salt. But
Meanwhile,
you're still watching, so thank you.
oh yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. FBA.
I learned things, and I appreciate that I learned things. I learned something new, and this is what this show is about. This show is about learning new things, having conversations in a different way. So if I learned something new, I love it. So thank you for those of you who comment. Make sure you are liking and subscribing as you come in. Make sure you like. If you're leaving us, make sure you like. Share this with someone who's going to need it because I think we've all been through a little bit of struggle love. I might be defining struggle love a little differently than many of you have. And I'm going to ask some questions because we're here to learn. And again, this conversation is for the grown folks. I don't speak to the 20-year-olds. I have one at home. She's 24, but I'm not speaking. I'm way past that. Okay, I am speaking to grown people who's been through some things, who want to get married, who are looking to have really good relationships, who might be off the market but looking to get out there. Like we're talking to you, the people who are married and want to stay married. Yeah, talking to all of you.
That
not the
sounds
young
about
folk,
right. I totally agree
right?
with the message.
Not the young folk. So, struggle love. When many people think about struggle love, what do they think of? What do you think, twins? What do they think of?
Struggle, love.
Struggle.
I mean, I know what a struggle. Um, I mean, it sounds like very challenging relationships. You know, if I would put it in layman's terms, it doesn't sound healthy. It doesn't sound
Mm,
peaceful.
there we
Doesn't
go.
sound good. But I mean, I understand it is a thing, struggle, love. So yeah, I'm sure you're going to dive into it, or we'll expand from it. But yeah, it doesn't sound something that I want to be a part of.
I will
Now,
do what I can.
Now,
I
based
agree.
on the conversation that we may have, it might be something I might be a part of unintentionally, right? You don't know, right? So we're about to find out today what this struggle love is.
I love it. So when most people think of struggle love, they think of money, right? Because I think people feel like that is the only way in their minds they can struggle in a relationship is lack of money. But what about if someone is not meeting all of your emotions? What if your emotional needs are not met in a relationship and you're struggling to be loved or loved, right? Because I think that, people always talk about love languages, but they talk about their love language. This is how I want to receive love. But what about the person that you want to love you and that you love? How do they receive love? Are you loving them in a way that they can receive? Because you can have all the money in the world, and it does not mean that your relationship will not struggle, right? So I think that's the piece for me that I wanted to reframe the conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good
Okay,
one.
so tonight we're gonna ask a bunch of questions. And because again, we are here, this show's about partnerships and we've always been about partnerships, right? Like when I started this show, I really talked about changing the conversation around Black relationships and having some difficult but necessary conversations and sometimes reframing how we think about things because I'm actually a lover girl. Like I love love. I like to be in love. I love people in love. I love seeing happy couples. I'm the person who cries on the Black Love page on Instagram when I see happy couples doing their thing because I love love and I particularly love Black love. And so I want us to have this conversation because I do want us to reframe how we are thinking about love. So I've got a couple of questions. And, Twins and I will go back and forth. Those of you in the audience, if you're watching live, if you're watching on replay, if you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to chime in. I'm looking at all of as many as I can look at to make sure everyone's part of the conversation. So let's start with the first question, which I kind of touched on. Is struggle love only about money, or can emotional incompatibility create struggle too?
I'll say it's both. It's not. I wouldn't say just financially. It could be everything under the sun. I mean, it could be a struggle to communicate with each other. That's a
Mm,
struggle, right? If we can't have a healthy dialogue conversation without it going to the extreme, or you blaming me, or I'm blaming you, all those big words people want to say, what's what they say, gaslighting, all that stuff. These new words they're using now. So yeah,
pissed me off.
right. So yes, it's pretty much both. It's not just one thing. I wouldn't say financial struggle. I mean, it based on the word. I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, it's not just the finance part.
And for me, I think, when I hear people talk about it on other shows or when I hear, clips of it online, it's always financial, right? Like I don't want to be dating the bus driver. I want to date the man who owns the bus company, right? Like I don't want to date the janitor. I want to date the man who owns the janitorial company, right? But think about how many women out there who are dating men with means and are still struggling in love, right? So for me, if we were to take a look at the financial component, struggle love for me in a financial way is if you come into my life and I can no longer do the things that I was doing before you came, we're definitely struggling because what is happening here? So if I'm able, I'm a travel girly. I love to travel. I tell people all the time, travel is my love language. I'm all about acts of booking flights, okay? Words of travel confirmation, quality time at the beach. Okay, that is where I'm at. So if I am taking 3 or 4 trips a year by myself as a single person, and we get together, and all of a sudden we can't afford to even take 2 trips a year, to me I'm struggling because what are we doing here? My life was this and now it's this. And it's not because we are saving, because I'm still saving while I'm traveling. It's just because for whatever reason probably my ass is taking over more of the financial responsibilities than I would ever in life do. But to me, that's the definition of struggle love when it comes to finances. But for me, I don't worry about that part in my life. Like I never worry that I'm going to be with a man that we are going to struggle together financially. But what I do worry about is the emotional piece because of emotional incompatibility, because of not speaking this. And it's not the same love language, but speaking from the same type of love imprint. And let me explain because I use that terminology all the time for me. And your love imprint starts from when you are young, right? It starts from what you see, what you feel, right? Whether that be your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, however. But the idea of how you love comes from that foundation. And if your foundation is faulty or broken, you are now going through life with a faulty foundation. And if all you have ever seen is survival love, people are just out here loving to survive, but you've never seen real healthy love. Like I was talking to someone recently, and this gentleman was saying that he never knew his father. He met his father at 16. He watched his mother struggle. He got a job when he was 8 years old to
Okay.
help his mother. Me not even know, me never about to ask. Because I was just listening to this story and I was like, this is already a lot. Okay, let me pipe in. So he said he got a job at 8 years old. He learned to drive at 13 years old. All of this so he could help his mother take care of his brother because he's the oldest. His brother is younger than that because he felt he needed to be the man of the house. So one of the first things I asked him was, did you go to therapy? Have you ever been to therapy? And he actually said yes. And I was like, okay, that is a good start. Because for me, I don't know that world. I don't know. I don't know this idea that I needed to feel as if I needed to be the woman of the house or needed to financially take care of my mom or my dad or whomever to help her. I've never felt that. Like it's not anything I felt. And I can only imagine if his mom, if he was so busy trying to take care of his mom as a boy, how could his mom really take care of him emotionally? Because if he needed to step up, that means that there was something missing and he wasn't getting what he wanted. Does that make sense?
It does. All of that makes sense.
So for me, I was like, your foundation is a little faulty. Do you have the capability to love me, not love anybody else? Because I know how I want to be loved, right? Have you seen the way? Because sometimes you have to see things, right? You know, we're parents. Our kids mimic us all the time. You remember when your kids were younger and what you would do something and then they would copy you because they're mimicking because daddy's so funny or mommy's so funny, ha 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 ha. And they follow you, and sometimes they followed you when you said bad things, like when you stumped your toe and you said shit, and then they do that, they'd say shit. Okay, you're like, don't
That's
do that.
that's a fact.
Okay, you're like, don't do that. So imagine emotional aspects of that type of child parent relationship. If you were not fed in emotion, fed in attention, fed in protection, set in provision, how can you then feed yourself to then feed a relationship?
Mm,
Is that possible?
maybe. I
I say yes, but not without help, right?
mean, without something.
Because you don't know what you're missing until you know what's missing, right?
True. That's true.
Because if you've never seen it, because I mean, I've talked to people who are like, I never even realized this didn't happen in other people's houses until I went to other people's houses and it didn't happen. Right. Or some people were so accustomed to because their family did it that way and kind of their aunts did it, their uncles did it, in their house they did, their grandmas did certain things. Then they go off to university and they might be meeting new people from different parts of the world or, different parts of the country talking about certain things and they're like, oh yeah, we've always done it this way. And the person looks at them like, what? And they're like, you don't do it like that in your house? So now here's this 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old grown person who spent their formative years thinking something was only done this way until they're exposed or told about something else.
I c-
Go ahead.
no, I would just want to say I just pretty much everything you said. I agree as well. So no disagreement there, nothing like that. But I totally agree.
And so for me, when I hear struggle, I don't think struggle love as one word. I think struggling with love, struggling to love, struggling for love, right? It's not like there's something in between the struggle and the love because it's not just struggle love. Because again, you take the money aside. I've met people who financially are good, doing well, but their relationship is a disaster. But to the outside world, they drive the nice cars. They drive the Maybachs, the McLarens, the Rolls Royces, the Porsches. They're,
Levels.
the exactly right. Like they're coming in, and they're like, oh, people are like, oh my God, blah 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 blah. And I'm hearing they talk about these same people that I know, and I'm like, if you only know these fucking people's life is a disaster. But you see the outside financial means and you think, oh no, they have to be good. But they're struggling in love because there is some incompatibility there that they haven't dealt with, whether that's communication, whether that's loyalty, whether that's respect. There's something key that's missing for them, their ability to get to that point where they can truly love.
I mean, this still all pretty much still comes back to the foundation of communication. So, if we don't have these conversation about everything we talk about tonight, then yes, you will have what is called a struggle situation.
Situation. Because yeah, a lot of people in situations.
so, so I think that's where the struggle come in when you really think about it. Is really the struggle of being held accountable. You know about what things that hopefully y'all both sat down and agreed to these things, finances, peace, whatever it may be. This is definitely a conversation you should have, especially before you even get too serious. Just like the conversation that you had last week. But yeah,
Mm, that part. But make sure you go and watch last week's show, everybody. That was a great conversation. So when you're done here, go there and then share, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much. Okay. But I think, what we talk about all the time in this show, and this is why we really like people to participate in the show, is because you need to have the foundation conversations before the relationship gets there, because you'd be surprised how much heartache and pain a lot of us would save ourselves if we actually have certain conversations, because some of them are going to be hard, because I know we want the fun. We want fun. Everything is fun. It's beautiful. We want the rose colored glasses, and we don't want to talk about finances, retirement fund, okay, 401ks, What happens if we're in a situation where we're raising young kids and the biological parent passes away? How do you deal with that? Like, let's talk about raising children together. How do we co-parent? How does that work? Should I be co-parenting? Am I a bonus mom or am I just your helper? What is it that you expect from me? Like, no, we're so caught up in the fun that we're not communicating. So to Twins' point, communication should be the basis of everything because some of you are doing well financially but still struggling in love. But
Mm.
here's my next question. I answered this, but let me know what you think. If you're doing worse in life with someone than you were doing by yourself, is that love or struggle?
That is a struggle.
Facts. Well,
I mean, that shouldn't take a record science to figure that one out. That's definitely a struggle.
there are people who will be like, but we have to put the work in to make relationships work.
I mean, that's true too. I mean, that's still true, but it's still a struggle.
Thank you. Just still call it what it is. Like, let's still call it what it is because I'm not doing that. People can say whatever they want about me. I am not about to be in a situation. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how muscular you are. I don't care if we walk down the street and women ooh and ah. Okay? If my life is worse with you than it is by myself, what am I doing? How does that even make how does that even make sense? Like people are supposed to add, right? I always say like I should not be your entire happiness, but I should add to your happiness quotient, right? Like people always say, money doesn't make you happy. That is correct. If you're a miserable person, getting money doesn't make you happy. You don't go from truly miserable to happy. But if you're already happy, money makes you happier. Okay.
I
Depending
mean,
on how much money, much, much happier.
you-
But it won't initially make you happy.
right. And we all hear the saying that money can't buy you love. So we understand that concept, but it does make things easier. It does make things more complicated and more comfortable. Not complicated. It makes things more controllable. Um, because that's one less thing you have to really fuss about in a sense. So if that is something you're dealing with, but then everything else, it's a balance. It's a balance, right? So yeah.
But you're again, that foundation still has to be set because I used to watch the show about lottery winners and lottery winners from your side of the border because you guys' lottery gets large. Like the largest lottery we have is $80 million. You guys are going into the billions. Now ours isn't taxed, but even without the tax, if you guys win $1 billion, even with 50% tax, you're still walking away with 500 million. We just do not have that in Canada. Like I think they're gonna bring it up in April to 90 million, but that's the maximum you can win in Canada on the lottery. Anyways, I digress. But I used to watch this show talking about lottery winners and how a lot of them just were actually more miserable with money because it came with more responsibility. People wanted more from them. Like there's all of these things that having this money came with that they weren't actually prepared for. It's the same thing in a relationship. If you are not prepared for what could be, when it comes, you're like, if your foundation isn't already set, if you're not communicating, if you're not financially savvy, getting more money doesn't make you financially savvy. It just means that you're gonna be bad with more money. Like, doesn't change that at all.
That is a true statement. Some people think once they get a certain amount of money, things will get better, things will change. No, all it's going to do is amplify whatever you was dealing with.
That
So
part,
yeah,
that whole part.
I mean, once again, money can help out, but it is evil, I guess.
I mean, I like it. It's great, but it has ruined relationships. Let's just call it. I mean, let's talk about it. Dak Prescott, for
Mm,
instance. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about money. So there are two rumors going around about why his relationship broke up. So I found out the timeline. The timeline is met some chick, 2023. It's now 2026. She was some bartender. She's some concierge of liquor. Who cares? She was a bartender, worked in a bar. Okay. Met her, got her pregnant, quick, fast, and in a hurry. They got together, were living together, quick, fast, in a hurry, got her pregnant again. They have another baby. So there's two babies in 2.5, 3 years, and now they were engaged to be married. Now, one part says they broke up because of the prenup. She claims that's not true. She broke up with him because he had been cheating, and she thought that getting married was going to change his ways. First of all, let me just stop there before I even get to the prenup. Ladies, 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 let me talk to you right now. Marriage and babies has never made a man more faithful. If he was already not faithful and you still had one and two of his babies, which by the way changes your body, changes your mood, changes your hormone, changes you. So you are not the same person you were. Let's just call it what it is. You are not the same person you were before the babies. It's actually impossible because we just changed hormonally in other ways. So if he was cheating on you with baby number one and baby number two, and you think that getting a ring on your finger is going to make him stop cheating, no, you've just decided you want to marry a cheater because you like the life you're living. Like, what are we talking about? Marriage and then adding babies, two babies in 3 years. Is that what we were thinking? Anyways, I digress. Just needed a PSA. So now let's go to it. She claims that that was not the reason they didn't get married. She again claims that it was because they had a blowout at the bachelor party because he was getting DMs from girls. But once again, sweetie pie, you had already been okay with him cheating. You had two babies knowing he was cheating. You like the life that you were living. So lies. Like, I can't, does not compute to me. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know any man with means who would make sense not to sign a prenup. Now, there's some who didn't. Rest in peace, Kobe. Okay? There are some men who did not sign prenups with the women. But in 2026, I'm going to tell you, any young man right now, or any young lady right now who's of me, sign a prenup. It's done. And quite frankly, young men with the NIL deal right now who's going to be drafted to the league, I know your girlfriend, she's really sweet, probably sucks a mean dick right now. She's giving you all the sex you want. She's doing her thing. All the holes, all the things are happening. Let that bitch sign a prenup. Prenup it up. Lock it all up. Lock it down. Okay? Okay, lock it down. It sounds sweet right now, but money does not make relationships better. It can often make it worse. And it makes a lot of women even more insecure because guess what? Now your man has more ... access.
I mean, I think people fail to have the conversation and understand that's what it is. Ladies, if you do want the man who makes that type of money, let's be honest, expect him to have other situations going on. If that's something that you won't deal with or not allow, understandable. But that's what comes with someone who makes that type of money. He's able to afford and do this. So you really have to pick and choose. You just can't sit there and be mad and struggle with it because you're mad he's doing something that you don't want to do. But that's just something he's always done. But anyway, I digress.
Thank you. So this is why I'm like, sweetie pie, your story don't make no sense. You know he's been cheating for years. You still lay down with him, still gave him two kids, and you want us rational people to believe that was why you didn't marry him? No, sweetie. It was because he wanted you to sign a prenup. Okay, like, let's just speak straight. Don't lie.
and see, and that's a good prime example is that like how so we went from talking to kids, and
Yep.
now we're trying to do marriage.
2 kids. Yes, 2 kids. And now they're trying to get married.
What happened with being together with your partner first, or getting married to your partner first? Y'all enjoying each other, and then have kids.
That part. Because kids do not help relationships. I'm going to repeat it. Listen, I love my daughter. She's a blessing to me. Love her. She is my heart outside of my chest. But if I had not had a child,
Mm-hmm.
my life would probably be very different. If you think about all the money, time, energy, all the things we've been, and I have one. I just have one. Okay, with a very active father. With I was not a single mother by any freaking definition. I had so much help. I didn't have my daughter for years on a weekend between her father and my mother. I was on these streets. I was out. Sometimes not even in the week. Right? I want to see my granddaughter. Sure. Here you go. I was not a single mother in any regard, but even then, my life would be different if I did not have my daughter. So imagine getting into a new relationship, trying to nurture that relationship, and bingo bango, 6 months you're pregnant. You, you don't really know each other yet, and now you're gonna raise a whole human being together. Then once that human comes, bingo bango, you're pregnant again. And ladies, I need you to understand, his life will not change. And stop getting mad at him because it didn't. Our lives change. When we make that decision, we are the ones that they depend on to suckle on our nipples. We are the ones that they want us to put us in night. We are the ones that are queen because the bonding is actually necessary. It is not that it's not necessary for dad, but that is how we bond with the baby. This is why we are made with these breasts, okay? Because this is what we're supposed to do. That's why dad doesn't have them. So yes, he's still gonna go to boys' night. He's still gonna go to basketball. He's still gonna have a life, and it's gonna suck, and you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be really mad at it. That why can't I do this? Because you're not. So take that baby to yoga. Take that baby to the exercise class. Just to strap the baby on because that baby is attached to you at least for the first 18 months. So yes, your relationship changes. Twins.
I will totally agree. When it comes to that situation between Dak, it does give off the vibe that she was only there for his money.
No shit.
It's a fact. The fact that Jack called out this wedding by having 2 kids, well, look at the picture, the pie either, I don't know, 4 and 2 or something like that. Like
No, they're young. They've been together since 2023. It's only 2026 March. They're
okay,
young babies.
so 3 years, if anything, right? 3 years. And it gets to a point now that you want to divorce the man. I don't think some women understand the concept is that, okay, yes, he wants to sign prenup. So boom. But here's the difference for people who don't know. If you're married, right? Married, and then whatever situation may happen, it don't work out, and you have to go through the divorce process, she's still gonna be entitled to not all his money or some of his money because you have 2 kids. The prenup kind of is voided once kids are involved. I'm not saying it's completely voided. I'm saying that yes, if we were married, then yes, you gotta give me half of your $250 million contract. Because we're not married or because XYZ, it may be a little different. But launching a kid, that lifestyle, the household the kids are in, the way they're eating, the way they're dressing, how the maids come in and help out, that's still under his current lifestyle. So if, for example, if they didn't work out and she had a divorce, that's what happened. Because the guys, the men, period,
Must maintain.
must maintain the same lifestyle without being in that same household. I don't make the rules. This is what it is. So once
But
again,
I'm
so the fact when it comes to that, and that's the issue that's kind of weird and be like, why are we having kids first before we even get to know each other? But anyway, I digress.
And just to be clear, the kids were born February 2024 and May 2025. and they met in 2023.
That's crazy. So it's 1 year old, 2 year old. That's crazy because if I was a multi-millionaire player like Dak Prescott, who's in the NFL, who works out, look good, XYZ, pause. The
The
fact
pause always kills me.
the fact that I met this girl in 2023, and now
2023.
yeah, so you don't even really know this girl, but she gave her 2 kids already out the gate.
Mhm.
That seems kind of suspicious to me, my personal opinion. But okay, make sure. So that's crazy to me. So I mean, the relationship, me personally, seems doomed. Now, granted, I'm not knocking how soon actually they got together because when I get married to my ex-wife, I met her in April and we got married in December. But we didn't
Got
have
married.
yes,
Got married. That's
got
what you
married.
said. You didn't say have babies.
Mm.
Not even the same thing. You got married.
Yeah,
And
but also, what I want to say too is that yeah, I got married, but also we didn't have kids till 3 years later. So we had that time to actually get to know each other. So I'm gonna stop now because there's a message on the screen. Go ahead.
so Gregoire Grant says, I think situations like that, people forget these gladiators are from moderate, low income communities and they are under 25 making millions of dollars, but we expect them to move like Robert Smith. Who the hell is Robert Smith? Fill me in. Who's Robert Smith?
Robert Smith.
Yeah, like give me context. I don't know who Robert Smith.
Oh, I mean, they're watching, so I'm sure they'll go right.
Gregoire Grant, who is Robert Smith? But listen, I get it, but here's the thing. He was smart. He said, "No, I'm not going to marry you." And so like till you sign this prenup. Now, here's the thing I learned because I listen and I read and I go to people who are knowledgeable because they're in Texas. Texas puts a cap on child support. Unlike California and places like Florida, they put a cap. And the cap for 2 kids in Texas, in Dallas specifically, where they're at, is like $2,900. So she is only, I kid you not, look it up, Google it. Google it right now if you don't believe me. I watch a lawyer. If you have not, go to the channel. Girl, is that legal? Attorney Simone Redwine is a lawyer out of Texas, and she actually did a whole thing today on Dak Prescott, congratulating him for kicking this girl to the curb because she did not want to sign a prenup. She said it's the smartest thing he's probably ever done in his entire career, considering he was shooting up the club. And she called her Tuesday. She's like, they're making this girl who looks like Tuesday a mom twice. Love her. Go freaking check her out. She's freaking hilarious. But yeah, she talks about this all the time. And if we remember the Tristan, remember when Tristan got the side woman pregnant while he was playing for the Mavericks? Does everybody remember that story? Because I do. So him and Khloe Kardashian were still trying to work it out. Tristan Thompson is, by the way, Jamaican. He comes from Brampton, which is here in the Greater Toronto area. So yes, he is. So, anyways, he's Jamaican, comes from Brampton. He lives in basically Toronto. Whatever. He's a Toronto man, as they call it. Anyway, so Tristan had gotten this girl pregnant, and when he was playing for the Mavericks, and he was still with Khloe Kardashian, and there was a whole thing about it because the young lady moved from Dallas to bang, 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 California. It was not to be closer to Tristan because clearly he was playing for the Mavericks. It's because of the child support rules.
It's
The
more.
child support rules in California, you would get more based on his salary, while in Texas, Texas said, we don't play that game. We do not care how much the father makes. Here is the cap. If you have one child, move over here. This is how much you get. If you have 2 child, move over here. This is how much you get. It does not depend on income. And that's why she moved. And so this is why this young lady is not going to be getting a lot as a co-parent as she would have as an ex-wife. Because here's the thing: This is what I'm talking about when people are struggling in love. A prenup is not a bad thing, ladies. Stop getting emotional about a prenup when you're with a bloody millionaire. Because guess what? You get your lawyer, they have their lawyer, you sit down with your lawyer, you review the papers from their lawyer, you go back and forth and you negotiate. Negotiate. If you don't know what that word is, let me spell it out for you. You go back and forth and you negotiate until you guys both come to terms that you agree upon. And there could be a cheating clause in there. There is a if you there is something where after 5 years you get a lump sum amount and you keep getting increments up to 5 years. So it could be for every 5 years we're getting married, I get an additional 5 million, right? There are all these things that you can negotiate with this person. It is not a bad thing, but now you've broken up and you're a baby mama getting 25, 29, less than $3,000 a month for 2 kids. Stupid, but I digress. And Robert Smith is the American billionaire. He's the wealthiest black person in the US. Thank you so much, Greg Barr. You just taught
Ah,
me something.
you know what?
That's what he was talking
It's-
about. I was so
you're
stoked.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because I was like, I'm missing context here, but now I'm with you and I get where you were going. Okay, moving back to struggle love. I have two more questions I want to ask. And thank you for those who are active in the comments again. Like, share, subscribe. Moving on. Question number 3. We only have one more. Should people love their partner the way they want to love or the way their partner actually needs to receive love?
Mm. Say that one more time.
So, should people love their partner the way they want to love or the way their partner actually needs to receive love?
It, see, they're both tricky because you don't know how they need to be loved, right? Or how, or what is the way that they should be doing it. Like nothing is written down anywhere. Like we're learning as we go this whole process when it comes to dating X, Y, Z. So, yeah, I can't answer that question for that one, but there's no way without the communication part being part of the dynamic. Like I need you to
Thank
tell, like you have to tell me how I need to be, or tell you how.
That's where I was waiting for you to get to. You have
Yeah.
to tell me how you want to be loved, which means that that person needs to know how they receive love. So Gregoire had said number 2, and I am aligned with that. So I know myself very, very well. And that's the thing about getting into relationships. Any relationship is going to seem like struggle if you do not know yourself. And I know myself. My love languages are words of affirmation and quality time. I do not care about gifts. Like, gifts are, unless again, it is acts of booking flights and words of travel confirmation. Like, I don't need a Birkin bag. I don't need a Louis. I want any of that. I don't care for it. Give me a pack of Ferrero Rocher and a card. I kid you not. I am the happiest person in the world. If you give me a box of Ferrero Rocher and 2 cards, woo, okay, those are the things I care about. But not spending quality time with me, whether that's on the phone, whether that's through text, whether that's in person, whether that's video call, or not giving me words of affirmation, of encouragement, of love, and all of that, I, we're not going to work, right? It's just not going to work. However, I know people whose love language is acts of service. It is gifts. It is physical touch. And so for them, for instance, a man whose primary love language is physical touch, a long distance relationship would be very difficult for him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So immediately, because long distance is something that I have done for a very long time and do not mind doing, and probably my husband probably will not live in the same place I live. So a man whose primary love language is physical touch likely would not want to date me living in another country because I'm going to be not able to love him in the way that he wants because he needs me close by. He needs me right here with him. He wants me close enough sometimes that I might not be right beside him, but close enough that he says, babe, I'm coming around the corner. If I have to get on a flight, a train, in a car, right? Okay, on a bus, on a motorcycle, whatever, to get to him, that's not going to work. So, and I know if someone doesn't have the time to invest into getting to know me through phone calls or video calls or all of that stuff, that's not going to work for me. So that's why I'm saying, like, stop getting into relationships if you don't know yourself. Because how is someone going to love you the way you receive love if you don't know how you want to be loved? And I had to tell somebody that the other day. Like, I had to tell somebody clearly, you do not know how to love me. So please just leave me alone because you want to fix everything with gifts. When I'm mad, you want to buy me a gift. When I'm sad, you want to buy me a gift. When I'm happy, you want to buy me a gift. When anything happens, you want to buy me a gift. When I don't give a shit about gifts, unless the gift is flying me to South Africa. Okay? Like, I don't care about the bag that you saw. I care about you picking up the phone and calling me. You know, and I'm like finding out about my day, being able to tell you about the good things, the bad things. That I had a great day yesterday. I got an amazing day, like one of the best I've probably had in my career yesterday. And to not be able to call someone and talk to them about it wouldn't work for me because that's what I need. So for me, one of the biggest things I always ask is, how do you want to be loved and how do you receive love? Because if I'm not loving you in the way that you receive, it seems like I'm not loving you and we're struggling to love.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I mean,
To me,
that was a
I,
bar.
I do what I can. I'm going to make sure I click that. Right? But to me, especially at our big age, it should not be super complicated.
Well, see, here's the problem. It's going to be complicated.
I'm ready. Okay, let me know.
It's
Come
going
on.
to be complicated because people have history. You know, you can't change the history. You can't undo the things that led them up to who they are at this time. So people are still dealing with past traumas what they're dealing with. So those are things that make those people who they are. So it sounds good. It sounds easy, but it's not.
I'm about to do a plug. If you have a woman in your life who may be struggling with some things and needs to let some baggage go, get my book, No Handouts for Black Girls, available on Amazon, Barnes& and Nobles, Walmart, or anywhere books are sold. Simply Google Toshiba Billings, and you will see my 13 books that are on the market, particularly No Handouts for Black Girl. Talks about that very same thing. Love my book. This is me. I really did write it. That's my name right there. Toshiba Billings. This is a masterpiece. Anyways, No Handouts for Black Girls. Now, here's the thing. That sounds, I think I'm going to tell you, I think that's a cop out.
You
And
think
I'm going
so?
to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. You and I work out, right?
Yes.
So you're hiking and you decide that you're going to hike with a 10-pound weight in a knapsack going up the hill
Okay.
because this is what you're going to do. It's going to be amazing. And if anybody who's ever hiked here, honestly, the best workout in life is a hike. I have walked up mountains, ran up mountains. The best work I've ever done is a hike. Okay, so you're walking up this hill, and you have a 10-pound, and you know that is what you need. If you do 20 pounds, you're not going to have an effective workout, right? So you have your 10 pounds, and you start walking up the hill. There's a 5-pound weight in your way. Are you going to move it out of the way, or are you going to pick it up and put it in your backpack?
You gonna keep it?
The
You gonna,
5-pound weight, you're going to add it to your 10 pounds, or you're going to move it out of the way?
oh, I'm sorry. Move it out the way.
If you keep going up, there's another 5-pound weight. You're going to put it in the knapsack to make 15, or you're going to move it out of the way?
I mean, do I have to keep adding all this weight on? Because it seems like it's.
You don't. Yet that's the point. You don't. You know that you are going up this hill and you can only handle so much. So for me, this idea that we keep taking on, okay, trauma and keeps adding. Think Gregoire has just made a note that he's just that's why he helped me with this word, right? We keep adding on trauma and not understanding the impact of the trauma. We don't have to add on the trauma. We can recognize the trauma and we can deal with the trauma.
I mean, it sounds good.
It sure
But
does. I've
however,
done it.
listen, there's certain things that some people can say that can still trigger you, and that's something that might happen prior to you. So it's easy to say, "Oh, it's not going to bother me," but in the back of the mind, it's going to relit something that happened to you previously.
Sorry, I'm laughing because
I know.
because Gregoire said something about especially having Caribbean parents. There's something that goes around that says if you're raised by Caribbean parents, you are entitled to compensation. So okay, you are entitled, and I am a Caribbean parent, and I was raised by Caribbean parents, so I am entitled to compensation. And listen, I know it sounds ideal, and I get that there's some things we're just not going to be easily able to get over. But why do we keep taking on more if you recognize? Because at some point, again, you have to know yourself. If you do not know yourself, why are you trying to get into a relationship with somebody else? And I'm going to say, especially at our big age, I'm not, again, this show is not for the 20 something year olds, it's not for the teenagers, it's barely for the early 30-year-olds. I'm talking about our grown selves who have been through some things, who've experienced some things, who've had to make certain choices and understand what that means. If you do not know yourself by the time you are 40 or my big age, 46 years old, to understand what you can deal with in a relationship and what you can't, what things trigger you, what things are going to bring up wounds. And if I have these wounds, maybe I should go and try to heal them. Now, granted, the wounds don't go away, but they do subside.
Correct.
And I am not, I'm going to tell you, for me, struggle love for me, like I said, isn't finances. It's potentially struggling to love somebody who hasn't dealt with their past trauma. Again, I know what my things are. And even with that, I was surrounded by so much love. It was a beautiful thing, even though I was born in an affair. Like I recognize that. I recognize how that could affect me. So I went to therapy about it. I didn't just I didn't sit with it and say, well, I think it's fine, so everybody should think it's fine, and this is not going to show up in my life. I recognize that it might show up in my relationships. So I went to a lovely lady. I spent $140 an hour, okay, once or twice a month to go see this lovely lady, and she helped me with some ish. And so for me, I'm not willing to struggle in love with someone who doesn't know how they want to love and is incapable of loving me the way I need to be loved. I'll
Okay.
just be alone. I'll just be alone. And again, no handouts for black
But
girls, sold everywhere.
it still comes down to accountability because you gotta want to do good. You gotta want to be better by yourself. Me-
Whew!
Meaning that it shouldn't take another man or another woman for you to be like, you know what, I want to be better. I'm gonna work on these things. No, some people need to do these things before you're even in any type of relationship. Get your
That's
own
what I'm saying.
before moving forward. But our generation is lazy.
Not lazy.
Or what's not what let's say about it? Entitled. They just feel that whatever they have been through, it's my job to try to fix it because
Mm,
they went through that or X, Y, Z. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. Well, no, it is wrong. But I'm, but what I am saying is that it sounds good to say that they should be able to, but people don't. I mean, shit.
And
Listen,
then
matter of
they're
fact,
not for me. I can tell you that that person is not for me, and I own that.
and that's it right there. Thank you. And that's it right there. Once you realize that person is just not for you, you gotta let them go. It's not that, oh, you know what, they check off every other box, but that one thing that bothers me a lot, I'm okay. I'm gonna get through it. No, they're not gonna change who they are because that's who they are. So you need to stick to your guns as far as whatever things you're gonna deal with versus what you're not gonna deal with. And also one thing I was gonna say is that at our age, working in corporate America, we all know people choose to do things, choose not to do things. And the main thing I'll say is just this that we all can relate to. We all have to use the bathroom. And we all know one corporate VP smart person who goes in, handle their business, and walk straight out. Or they'll go
Oh,
to the sink, run some water on their hands, and run out. So once again,
nasty.
so if they can't be basic health stuff, because health stuff, what do you think they're gonna do everything else when it comes to their past traumas? I'm just saying.
Here's and maybe I'm unique. And thank you, Gregoire, for your point. And I get it. Not therapy isn't available to everybody, and I recognize how fortunate I am, how fortunate Twins is, how fortunate many of you who watch the show are, right? Because we are in a different financial situation than a lot of people. But people find ways to do the things
They
that
want
they want to
to do.
do because these same struggling people find time and money to go to Miami. They find time and money to go to the club. These women find time and money to get a new weave, new nails. Imagine if you just saved up that money to invest in yourself because these nails are not investing in me. They're cute. Mine don't even cost that much. These cost $35. Um, yeah, I cheapen out when it comes to that. But I will work on my mental health. I will work on my physical health. I will work on that because the biggest investment is in me. And if I am going to be the best version of myself, at the end of it, I'm going to invest in that because why would I give the worst version of me to someone else and expect them to love me?
Because who's gonna check you, boo? I'm just saying, think about it. Who's gonna check you? Who's gonna tell you that you're wrong or right at this big age that we are? It has to
Oh,
be
my mother. My
it,
mother will tell me if
it has to
my
be
mother will.
it has to be something that's internally. It has to be a self thing. It has to be something that you have to do for yourself. But in this generation that we are, a lot of people are not that way. So just get ready to start cutting people off. That's all.
Facts. And and here's the thing. I think it's one of those things. If you come with all these scars and wounds, I think enough people say, I actually can't deal with you with your scars and wounds until you go and heal them. Eventually, you have to heal them or you're going to be alone.
Mm.
Now, if you're okay with being alone, then it doesn't matter. You go on with all the scars and the wounds and all of that stuff, right? But if you say, you know what, I keep getting rejected by the people I want because I have these scars and wounds, eventually you're gonna get in check. It's like the realization when a big back starts getting rejected and really rejected, seriously, by the men that she wants because she's a big back. There's a lot of big backs in the gym with me now because they're out there trying to unbig their back. Yeah, for their health, I'm sure, but also because they want a man, because it's lonely in these streets, and Toronto's been cold. But I digress. We're moving on. Final question of the night. At this stage in life, meaning our big age, should relationships make life easier, or is some struggle just a part of love?
Mm. I'm gonna go with the first one because I'm not gonna accept that some struggles is a part of love. No. Now, some struggles that you have gone through can make you a better person if you learn
Hmm.
from the situations. And then, of course, like you said, if you did the work and therapy or whatever else, so it could. But for my dating preference, it doesn't. People still got go back and do the work. So the first part I'm gonna go with.
Yeah. I'm with you. I understand. Again, Jamaicans have a saying, teeth and tongue will meet, right? Which means that we're going to get into disagreements. We are not always going to be on the same page. We're not always going to share the same perspective, but that's not struggle. That's just human nature, right? That is people trying, two separate people coming together, trying to become one. That is a part of that, but actual struggle where we're constantly arguing, where we're constantly in financial strife, where we can't agree on anything, how why I'm always complaining that you don't spend time with me or tell me that I'm pretty and you're saying you can't love me the way that I want and you're not I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I've worked really, really hard to center myself, to align myself, to get to a place that I'm happy with myself in my life, and what I'm not going to do is bring somebody in who's going to disrupt my equilibrium. That is important. Okay. Or my pH balance. I don't want a man throwing off my equilibrium or my pH balance. Okay. So, not at my big age. I have too many things already going on. I need to keep my pH balance in check. I need my equilibrium in check. So I am not struggling with you, sweetie. I'm not struggling with you emotionally. I'm not struggling with you financially. I'm not struggling with you spiritually. I'm not struggling with you mentally. I'm not struggling with you physically. At this big age where we're at, if you have not recognized and you're not putting in the work to better yourself, why would I give you the best version of myself? Doesn't make any sense. I don't want to give somebody the best version of me to get the worst version of them. Can't do it. Not interested. I can be alone. It's just, to me, it's not worth it. So for those of you who have heard this conversation and it's resonated with you, again, like, share, subscribe. We'd love to hear the comments. If you currently feel like you're in a struggle love relationship, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to get out of it? My daddy had a saying, it's cheaper to keep her. And when my daddy's marriage was failing, not to my stepmom, but the evil bitch he married after that, he when it was time for him to get a divorce, he said it was cheaper to keep her. But it actually was not cheaper to keep her because there was all kinds of issues.
But
Because he was still married to her when he died because he thought it was cheaper to keep her. It is not cheaper to keep someone that you're miserable with, that you're struggling in love with. Twins.
I just want. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be off a little track here, so I do
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
said something here. The whole cheaper the keeper, that slogan, that is a bunch of bull.
It's bullshit.
Agree.
That's what I told my daddy.
Yeah.
Like,
The only part of that word cheaper to keeper makes sense, especially if you're a married guy and went through divorce. It's cheaper to keep her only during the divorce process. Just that part there is cheaper because you spend
hmm
a lot of money in courts and attorney fees, lawyer fee, whatever. Blah. Yes, that's where the money go. But once the dust has settled, meaning that okay, you're guy, okay, you have the kids, full custody, blah blah blah. You give them every the weekend. You pay X amount of dollars. Once again, first couple of years gonna sound crazy. It's gonna be tough. You get your money together. Trust me. That process there is where it's cheaper to keep her. Because when I was married, I was probably spending per month with all total bills and everything, probably 8 to 12K per month.
Jesus Christ! God forgive him, pardon my
When you
soul.
figure rent, bills, gas, electric, cars, everything, kids' activities, everything. Now, all I gotta do now is just pay that $1,400 a month. That's it. And once you get your finances together, once you start navigating through that process, It's not cheaper to keep her. It actually worked out. I spend less money now because I don't gotta do XYZ. She got her own house. She gotta handle all those bills and everything under her name. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is that $1,400 I give her a month for child support, and then when I get my babies for those weekends, and we do this XYZ. But at the end of the day, it's actually cheaper for me. So anyway, just a sidebar. Most men will understand the concept who been married, divorced. That it's not cheaper to keep her. Let her go. It's just doing a divorce process. That's where that part is. Like I ain't gonna say X amount of number, but let's say it was a lot of numbers, a lot of zeros that I spent during the divorce process, which it felt like no way it's cheaper to keep her. No, not for your mental health and XYZ. No, it's not.
That part.
It,
Thank you for saying that.
and on top of that, too, not just my mental health. I mean, yes, my mental health, but also if I'm in a bad place, how can I be a good father
That part.
to my son, to my daughter, to raise them? And if my mental's all messed up, so it goes both ways. Granted, as we both said in the past before, nobody. I stand. Now this time, I always say I'm speaking absolute. I'm speaking absolute right here. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gets married to get divorced. I promise you. That's one statement I will stand on
Yep, me too.
on top of the mountain, screaming loud as hell that no one gets married to get divorced.
Agreed 100%.
And I'm done.
1000%. Um, Listen, yeah, that cheaper to keeper pissed me off when me and my sister when our dad told us it, and it ended up at the end. Trust me, it was not cheaper to keep that bitch. But I digress. God rest in peace to my daddy. So we have some relationship tips. But before we get into it, again, like, share, subscribe, comment. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think. Again, we are changing the conversation around Black relationships. This is for grown folks. We are here to build Black families by having the discussion. I know that some people have said in the past that we are tearing people down. No, we are not. So you are listening to the wrong show if you think that's what we're doing. We are trying to make sure that you have important conversations. And one of the most important conversations sometimes you have to have is with yourself. And so my relationship tip is, do not get into a relationship until you are relationship worthy. That
Mm,
means mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, you are in a good place. And only you can determine what that good place is, but you will see a difference when you get yourself into a place where you are happy with you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you are truly happy with the person you are, the person other people experience, the person you experience, because there is nothing worse than trying to give your worst self to someone who's trying to give you their best. So that is my relationship advice. Twins.
the, so my relationship I would like to give, and it's actually really based on the Dak Prescott thing, is that fellas, you need to have the conversation about finances for real, prenups, all those things before you have sex.
Woo!
The reason why I say before you have sex, because it only takes one time, and then boom, a child could be here.
And the legs are up in the air. Sorry. Both for both reasons, for the baby and for the sex. Sorry to cut your relationship. Go continue. Continue.
Totally agree, though. I agree, but because I mean, at the end of the day, I first off, I didn't do my research on Dak Prescott as far as his history, right? But we do, I don't know if he grew up with a two-parent home, right? He might have, I don't know. I didn't do my research, but the point I'm trying to make is, if he knew that this woman will have him and a broken home, I'm sure he would have passed upon her, knowing that what he knows now. Because at the end of the day, most men, we don't want to create broken homes. That's not, once again, I don't get married. I didn't get married to get divorced. So I don't, I didn't have kids till 3 years into my marriage. Yeah, granted, did I have scares when I was younger? Yes, but no, yeah, I did. But guess what? I had no kids. So I didn't have no kids until I turned 30. That's when I had my first child, 30. So I was intentional as far as who I planted my seed in, as far as who I want to build my future with.
Mhm.
Now, granted, I still, broken home, but 14 years, a lot of stuff can happen there. But it's not about that. The point I'm trying to make is that they were only together for what, 3 years now?
That is correct.
3 years now. So they didn't get a chance to even date to know each other. It's like,
That is
oh, you
correct.
fine. Oh, you handsome. Oh, you this. Let's get it cracking. Boom, one baby. Oh, another baby. Oh, now, let's get married now. Like, you see how ass backwards that looks? But the point I'm trying to make is that if he'd had a conversation about the family foundation before that, he might have seen that this ain't gonna work out. But once again, I didn't do my research on Dak, so I don't know if he grew up in a two-parent home. But if he did grow up in
I just did quickly.
oh,
So his parents were married. They did get a divorce when he was in elementary school, and he was clearly then raised by his mom. So
okay.
he comes from a divorced home, not a broken home. Very different things.
Thank you. Look at that. Look at you doing a little research that quick.
Quickly, I just pulled up real quick. I'm scanning Wikipedia.
It's still though. That's the point I was really trying to make is like, darn it, because I'm sure he loved the woman. I'm sure he wanted to be with her. He wanted to marry her. But the fact that he really saw the real true side of her is that, damn, you really more focused about this money than our union, our kids. And now I have to be a co-parent. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I want to think about. Just fellas, just make sure before I understand how warm, wet, and all that good stuff it can be, but if that's what is that enough? Is that worth the legacy that you want to leave? You understand what I'm saying? Is that what you want to have as as you have kids? That the example that you want to lead to them that they have broken homes? Because I didn't want to have a broken home personally, but I have one. But that was never my goal. So that was my dating tip for the night, ladies and gentlemen.
I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Well, again, like, share, subscribe. Before we go, what you got planned for the weekend, twins? What you got up your sleeve?
Well, I ain't got no sleeves. No, I'm missing my. I ain't gonna okay, anyway. I got the kids this weekend, so
Okay, love
uh,
that for you.
soccer, soccer Saturday, little work. Um, if and sounds crazy, but when you're a homeowner, you can understand some yard work. If it
I
doesn't,
love that for you.
I got leaves. I want to get out. I want to blow them out the yard. I want to, because it's starting to get warm here. So I want to blow the leaves out. I want to actually cut down the grass a little bit. Just a little. I like to have a
Love
nice
that for
property.
you.
So that's
Look,
something.
a little curbside appeal. You want some good curbside appeal? I get it.
See,
I get it.
but
A
yeah,
little curbside appeal.
that ain't yard work. Hey man, we can get to the 40 club, early 50 club. Little things is just hit a little different. That I
Little things make you happy. I love that for you, right? Like, I like to read a book. I like to get in my head and start writing. There are just certain things that just takes me away and I'm happy for it. It's boring to other people, but I love it. So I love that for you. Love that. Well, enjoy the kids, enjoy soccer, enjoy your yard work, enjoy your you time. I love that.
What about you?
I'm taking a little road trip.
No, road trip again. Here you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's a good sign.
I, I'm, ta- I'm
Great.
taking a little road trip. I'm jumping on a train tomorrow morning at 6:50. Just take a little road trip, make a little visit. It's gonna be a good time. I'll be back. I'll be back on Sunday though. It's my mom's birthday on Sunday. My mom turned 70,
Okay.
and so my daughter and I are taking her and her partner and my aunt and my mom's really good friend to dinner at this restaurant that she loves. And we bought her like a beautiful bouquet of flowers and like customized. My daughter got inspiration from something that was in her house, and we ordered that for her. So she'll love it. So I'm going to go have some personal time and then spend some time with the family.
Okay. Well, let your mom know from the FU family, fuck your feelings family. Birthday, mommy.
Happy birthday. No, 70 is a big age, and I'm so blessed to still have her. If you
Yeah.
have your parents, love on them, kiss on them. You never know when they'll be gone. Again, rest in peace to daddy. So have a good night, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you for the comments, Gregoire. We see you. Thank you for the knowledge you dropped on me because I totally forgot who Robert Smith is. But again, I'm not an FBA. I'm not a foundational Black American. So apparently I don't know shit. But anyways, we love you. We appreciate you. Have a good night. See you next week. Bye.